Sour. Welcome, Coach Abel. So there's this whole Ulinzi Lakeside, the court ruling. Just from your perspective, I know you as the you've coached you coached the Storms team. From your side, what do you think about this whole situation?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I think it's just rather unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate that we had to reach this level. I think it's unfortunate that when the flags were raised initially during the playoffs, we should have just reacted to it. Like a game should have stopped, addressed the issue fully. Um, but nonetheless, it is unfortunate for every party. It's unfortunate for the teams that have invested themselves and that have to go back and reinvest themselves, even though the verdict may say that the federation has to do it. We also know that doing it entirely the way the teams did it will be close to impossible. They'll have to find a different way of executing it.
And just to draw back, move back a bit, there were like reports earlier. They were saying that this whole ineligible player that was fielded by the Ulinzi side, yet this thing happened after the Lakeside series, after Ulinzi won, and they went to the second round match up against the Strathmore Blades team. It was still in the still it was still in it was a matter that was still fielded. But do you feel like the way KBF handled this situation, like their lawyers, like earlier yesterday, you were at the space that you mentioned categorically what transpired, what transpired there with the legal team. Do you feel like who is at most fault here? We know Ulinzi fielded this player, the KBF. Who is at most fault? Who should like take the brunt of the penalties given the situation?
Well, it starts with the teams that field players, right? Because when teams field players, remember, okay, if we want, we can go all the way back to say um, our federation in regards to not having a digital platform with all information and records, right? Which would address who plays where. Okay. So we can go there that far. But let's fast forward to where we were, right? At the time of a game, it is the team that puts a player on the list that is completely liable for the names that they write there. When they ask the coach to sign a score sheet, it's because the coach comes, looks at the score sheet, reads the names, see everything is in accordance, and then signs. You understand? So that is where the team takes liability, because if I sign and I put you, Nderitu, on my list and you're not part of my team, I take the blame, right?
Yes,
Then
sir.
second level becomes the officials who were checking on this. Did they catch it? And if they caught it, what was the repercussion? I gave a clear example. Riara ladies lost the Division One finals to Kisumu Ladybugs because of this exact problem, right? They fielded a lady apparently in Kisumu. The story by the teammate says she didn't actually play, but they fielded a lady in Kisumu who was ineligible, right? Once this came to the attention of the federation and the committee, the game was awarded to Ladybugs, right? And because of the competition rules that say that if there's a walkover within the series has been won by the other team, they were denied the opportunity to play game two in Nairobi, right?
Yes, sir.
And so Ladybugs was awarded the Division One title. Okay. I remember having a heated argument with one of the Ladybugs players actually in regards to this, right? And I
Yes.
spoke to some members of the federation about the same issue, and they said, no, the competition rules are very clear. They fielded a wrong player. And I asked the same question you're asking. I said, but who was supposed to verify that this player was eligible? They said, no, it's the team also, because by the time this score sheet comes back and we can verify and we give our reasoning to this game, this is what transpired already, right? So
Yeah.
that's fine. Fair. That so it's the team, right? According to what they said, that title was given to the opposite team because this was the issue. I don't think there's any difference here, right?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
biggest the biggest difference maybe here is that Kisumu Lakeside didn't play any of the games under protest, right? Remember, everybody called out the situation after game one of Ulinzi Kisumu, right?
Yes, sir.
After game one, right? Then game two was played in Nyayo, right?
Yes.
But still, then, did they write anything formal? They didn't write anything. You get what I'm saying? That is why this case was Dennis, the Dennis Opio versus the Federation, right?
Yes.
It is not the case of Lakeside versus the Federation because it did not write anything. You get what I'm saying? They were adjoined to this because they are part of the issue, right? Because they are what part of the aggrieved parties. You get it? So I think this is where things went a bit confusing. Had the team played on the protest, there's a place there to write your protests. It's there. You pay the money, you write the protests, right? And you can play on the protest and say, this person is not eligible and we're playing on the protest. You'll play and then you write and forward it and pay the fee. You get it? And then your case is heard. I think that was where the first issue came. If had they done that, it would have made this a shorter case. You get it? Because if you heard all the hearings, the federation lawyer was kept on addressing Dennis and saying, who is he, right? Because he's not part of the issue. Because that was exactly it. You get it?
Yes.
So I think that's where to me all the confusion starts. It's the team is to be blamed, yes, but the confusion started because the team that was opposed did not react officially early enough. And that created all this delay because initially everybody was undermining the status of Dennis and why he's the one who has lodged the complaint, right? But then once the court kept picked it up as a serious matter, now reality checked in and everybody had to give it the attention that it deserved. But this was already a minute too late in regards to how the proceedings were going in the league. And yeah, somebody somewhere was wrong not to think that they should have just pulled the damn plug and waited for the final verdicts.
It's just to backtrack a bit with you, Coach Abel. There's this situation where like the Ulinzi fielded an eligible player. They made it past Lakeside. They went from the quarters to the semis. Also, the ineligible player played in the Strathmore Blades series. What's your take on that? What do you feel about that situation? Because when I went look back at the score sheet for the Blades and the Ulinzi, also this ineligible player played there. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's just like what I said earlier. Issue is that everybody assumed that both parties assumed that they had enough documentation to prove their case, right? Lindsay felt that they're in their rights and they presented documents, hence they kept playing the player, right? They
Yes,
didn't act guilty at any point in time. That's why he played the Blade series. That's what I'm explaining. That's why he played the Blade series, because they didn't feel that they did anything wrong. Now, if the court has decided that they did something wrong, that is why now they're going to pay the price. But they did. Look, you have to remember it this way. You have to think about it in certain simple manner. If I keep telling you that I have not done anything wrong, see, I'll continue operating as if I've done nothing wrong, right?
yes, sir.
Why would I want Ulinzi to act guilty? Yet they said they have done nothing wrong. If they didn't play him in the second round, etc., etc., we would easily assume that they admit that they've done something wrong, right?
Yes,
So they had to continue and say, no, it's just like playing poker. You bluff, right? You say, I'm adding 10,000 shillings on the table. You're telling the opponent you have a great hand, right? You may
yes,
not have a great hand. All your bluff and you don't have anything in your hands. What's going to happen? You will lose, right?
yes,
So here, bluff was called, and the court came up with the finding that they're guilty. If the court came up with the finding that they're not guilty, their bluff could have worked. So that's really it. So I think they just went along with what they were defending in regards to their position to the matter. I think it was nothing more than that. It was more like, well, we have documentation that says that he can play for us. So let's continue playing.
yes. And also there's after the verdict that was issued, they said that the 2021 NBA playoffs and finals to be replayed. What's your take on that? I remember yesterday you mentioned about fines and penalties. They also chimed in and said the team that participated in the impunity should be fined. Do you feel it's right, given that the 2022-2023 season has already commenced, they replay the 2021 playoffs?
I don't think that you need to involve teams that are not involved, because what does that have to do with anything? Whatever they're being accused of happened in the quarterfinals, right?
Yes.
So one, the league standings are not affected by whatever they were accused of, right? The league standings are the way they are, right? Two, it is not every series that was affected. It is one stream, right? It's like a bracket. To go
Yes.
to the finals, it's brackets, okay?
Yes.
It is one that was affected, so that bracket repeats itself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ulinzi is not accused of having fielded an eligible player during the regular season, hence earning their spot to the playoffs. No, Ulinzi entered the playoffs in a very legal matter, so they're there. Ulinzi in game one had an ineligible player, right?
Yes.
According to what the findings showed. So what happens next is, since you've disqualified them because the games were played, right? So what you've done is you've nullified those games. All you've done is you've awarded the victory to the other team. It's just like when there's a walkover and they say 0 points -1. Okay.
Yes.
You've just awarded victory. That is what the competition rules say. You've awarded the victory to Lakeside. So Lakeside proceeds to play against Blades, because Blades versus Thunder series, as of now, had no issues. You understand?
Yes.
And Blades won against Thunder. So you proceed to play Lakeside versus Blades, and then the winner proceeds to meet KPA in the finals. That is all that you do. And this doesn't affect the rest of the season, because as we sit, right, we have teams like Equity themselves who have not yet even submitted a roster or done anything. They haven't played a game. And this weekend, Thunder is going to be playing his second and third game, right? So
Yes.
there'll be teams that will have more games than others. It doesn't matter. To finish the 2 playoff series, it takes us about 4 weeks. You know that, right? 4 weekends.
Yes.
Because you play the first 2 games in Kisumu, come back to Nairobi to play 3, 4, 5 if necessary. The other weekend, you start the finals, right?
Yes.
You play the first 2 in Nairobi. The final weekend, you play 3, 4, 5. It's equals 4 weeks. 4 weeks in our league calendar, as usual, is the equivalent to anything between 2 to 4 games for a team, right?
Yeah.
Usually. It's not more usually, right? Because teams stay for 2 months without playing. Sindio. So
yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it's okay. The other league should continue Division 1, Division 2, whatever, Ladies League. Let these games I've just mentioned be played, if that is what the case is, what has been ordered by the court. Play those games, get it over with, award the champion, and keep moving. Okay?
Yes, sir.
When people hear me, I remember yesterday people were saying, when I'm saying keep moving, I'm saying business as usual. No, that's not what I'm saying. Because the punishment is already there. It's like you punish a child for committing a crime, right? But you keep shouting when the child is in jail. What are you doing? He's in jail. What else do you want us to do right now? You want to keep screaming in the neighborhood? I can't believe he was a thief. He is in jail. He has been punished. Do you understand?
Yes.
We move, we keep living. He's already in jail. If you decide to relegate Ulinzi because of the punishment or whatever fines you impose on them, after you've imposed the fine, you've punished them, it's over. The only thing that you need to ensure is to look for more transparency, just to help you understand what is happening currently. And why I was having the voice I was having is, first of all, people don't like attending AGM, so they don't know what has happened. Because of this case, there are new procedures in KBF for transfers, right?
Yes.
Right now, you email the manager of the team you're taking the player from, you copy KBF Secretariat plus the committee, that is Kinanyakina and Amoko. You copy them in the email where you properly state your request, and they have to formally respond to you. You get it? So as of now, the players have taken, right, in Storms.
Yes.
There is a paper. If we have a dispute in December, how did this player join Storms? We just go to the email and say, here's the email. Dated this day, I wrote. Here's the response by KPA team manager on this date at this time. Everything is clear now because this is what we came up with as resolutions. Hence, I'm speaking the way I'm speaking when I say, let's move forward, is I'm saying it's fine. There's a punishment that has been established. When they punish somebody, we don't stop living. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
The things that are because there'll be no punishments. There's a punishment coming through. We keep moving. It means that even as a federation, they will know that right now people are paying attention. So let's follow through on our rules, right? Let's follow through on the way we proceed. Let's do things clearly, right? Some of the things we even proposed in the meeting was be transparent with results. That same score sheet that you guys take home and everything, post it online on the TM's forum after every weekend's games. So everybody has that white score sheet copy, right? We can all see and look at it and say, okay, this is the game, here's the top scorer, that's fine. Such that the day there's a dispute, we can all go back to it, right? And say, wait, we have the score sheets because they were sent every day. The same way as we make, if you know this, when you play a game in Kisumu or Mombasa or Eldoret, that score sheet copy is sent via phone, right?
Yeah.
To the federation. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's sent via WhatsApp, sent via email. Cindy,
Mhm.
well, the score sheet should also be sent the same way. You get what I'm saying? Let's have all of it on record. It's very simple so that we can refer, because all of this would have been avoided if all these things were transparently shared in advance. You get it? Because then we would know that, okay, this person played or this person didn't play. Please take waffles. 1 second there.
Okay.
Yes. So that's really it, right? It's about the transparency level where if and that's where we're coming to right now with this new office. When people say KBF, my question is always this: are the current people the same people who were there since? No, not entirely. You get it. We have
Yes.
Angela, who have Kisoy. Like, it's not the same people. You get it. And so they're dealing with things that have been happening historically, right? And now we have also historical precedents with what Dennis did, right?
Yes.
So all of these are new phases. Hence, I wasn't saying that we shouldn't be strong with the position. I'm just saying that it has started, right?
Yes.
All the measures have started to be put into place. Now let's just follow through on those things. Okay. That is why I'll keep going back to the team managers. Who makes the request to postpone games? Who makes the request to play players? Who? Is it the federation that comes and says to you, Coach Abel, you need to put Jennifer in your team? Take Jennifer in. Is it the federation, or is it Abel who goes to the federation and says, I need Jennifer to be added to my roster? It's me.
Yeah. Yes.
Me. So let's start by punishing, because if these team managers are punished when they do certain things like this, they will stop having the courage to do certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood on that, Coach Abel. But one thing that stood out to me, there's this example that you gave about when Juventus, was caught in some unscrupulous activities with their league.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
tell us more about that, and if that would have been like an angle that would have been used to deal with this whole situation, because you're finding Ulinzi had this mistake, KBF had a mistake. So given like your perspective, how would you handle it if, let's say, for example, you are in charge of this whole thing?
If I was in an independent committee,
Yes.
I would do exactly the steps that the council provided, which is, one, I would force the federation, if those games have to be replayed, to cater for the expenses linked to those games, which means what? Kisumu will have to host a game in Kisumu, which means Blades has to go to Kisumu. You get it?
Yes.
And then Kisumu has to come back to Nairobi. You get what I'm saying? And play. and then whoever is there has to go to Mombasa and play, and KP has to come to Nairobi, right? I
Yes.
would do the same. I would say the same. I would say because if we talk about ineligible and because the accusation is forged documents, right? That's the
Yes.
accusation. If we say that, it means that it came from you, right, as a federation. So I would tell them exactly what they said. It's fair enough, according to me. It is part of your own burden, right? But the team that perpetrated it, I will relegate them. Because look, to me, when you know that you do something wrong in that kind of case, I would relegate you. You get it? I
Yes.
would relegate you. I wouldn't let you play the Premier League. No, you will not have a chance of being champion right away after being accused of fielding an ineligible player. You get it? And that's what happened to Juventus. They had match fixing, tampering with some referees. They were relegated to the lower division, Serie B. You get it? Go
Yeah.
start over there, win games. And that's when they were playing that year with Nedved and all the rest. The players, the main players decided as a team, we will remain in the team and take ourselves back to the Syria. And they did that. You get it?
Okay.
I would relegate personally if I was in the committee. And it's not about emotions, it's about sometimes understanding that this action, even going to the court and all of it, it tarnishes us as a basketball fraternity, right? I
Yes.
mean, there are little things that don't really matter. You get it? But it's not good for us to have done. And sorry, no offense, no attack to anybody, but the player in question is not as if he was their best player. You understand what I'm saying? He's
Okay.
not their best player. He's not the essential piece that they needed to win. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hence, I am more heartbroken for the whole about the whole situation because it is not a game changer that has caused this. You get it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It is
Yes.
just, and you will agree with me. He's just a player, right? He's just a player like any one of them on that roster. He's not the. Is he the game changer for them?
According to the stats sheet, no.
That's what I'm saying. He's not. It's not. He's not the game changer
Yeah.
for them. You get what I'm saying? So it's just I'm just very unhappy because I think basketball has been doing amazing strides. The Morant's performances, the Lioness, the energy was coming back in basketball, as the Well League, Kawa basketball, Kisumu has a vibrant league going on. You get it? Mombasa is picking up. Like things are looking good. You guys are covering games, Whoopi Sports, stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the energy is coming back locally. So to me, it's really unfortunate that we have to get to this. You get it? It's like it's absorbing the energy again. It's like, why are we here in 2022? Bona to Koapa. We don't
Honestly,
have to be.
honestly, for me, these activities shouldn't be happening because they kind of water down like
Yeah,
they water down like progress. Because if you look at the way like leagues are coming up, the way the players are coming up, the way we are presenting them, where we're putting them in better positions, power positions, it's kind of watering down when you see a federation like having such situations.
yeah, it's bad on many levels. Um I still think that, I mean, could we have solved this internally? Yes. But through the committee, because we have a disciplinary committee, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, yes, we could have, which is what the federation was alluding to from the beginning of the hearings, right?
Yes.
We could have. But I also think that somehow the committee has not proven to the stakeholder, maybe to Dennis, he didn't feel that the committee has ever been trustworthy, right? Because remember, you have to always remember this. This case is an individual that raised it. It's one person who took on the federation, Dennis. It
Yes.
is everybody else is trying to buy into the story like we. It's not a we thing. You get it? Because many things have transpired. We have never gone anywhere. Unanielewa? So
Yes.
it's not a we. That is why I was very firm my position yesterday, because people are jumping in there and acting like it's a we thing. There's no we here. None of you was there. None of you gave a testimony. You get it? None of you wrote an affidavit with your own claims. None of you. You get it? There is no we here. There is Dennis, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
Dennis can voice opinion on what he feels about the situation because it is his case. You get it? And as of now, as you all know, in any court of law, the federation can still appeal. You get it? Because
Yes.
they were accused, and whoever accused them put their own findings, right? Based on those findings and what was presented, the rebuttal, they were found guilty. But you can still reappeal and say, no, I feel that the sanction is too heavy. And this is where I want to go with this. And they can still win that. It depends. You get it? So that's why at this moment, in as much as I've expressed to you how things have gone, I still think that um, the biggest thing here is to ensure that we do things the right way for the long run, right? For the long haul. Again, it's fine to punish. To me, it's fine. But let's not personalize anything. It's about an office. That is why he was suing the federation. It's an office and the powers of that office. You get it? And the
Yes.
things that office does. It's not an individual. I don't want us to personalize anything. If when you talk about the team, in case it's the team, we're talking about the team. Yes, it's not about a person, right? Because we like to personalize so many things. You get it? If it's you, if it's you, it's tough. If it's not you, if it's somebody else, we are okay. You get it?
Yeah,
So
yes, sir.
no, that's about the structure. So let's
Uh,
address it. Let's address it in that time of fairness and
okay.
treat it as such.
Just in closing, what's your final submissions on this whole situation? Like, in general, like,
My general thought about the whole situation.
yeah, final submissions.
Well, it's just that, we should just all aspire in being a bit more transparent in the proceedings as teams, as a federation. Players should be a bit more accountable. This is something discussed in the team managers meeting. Players should be fined heavily for fraudulent behaviors because this is not the first. I can just tell you this for free. There are a lot of players who have done that. They take money from A and B. They're registered in two teams. Then you only come to find out that your player is also registered for Sharks. And because your player took money from Sharks and took money from you, they allowed each team to think that they should register them. You get it? So
Yes,
I
sir.
think we should also hold players accountable. We should stop acting like players are innocent in these actions because they know the reality of whether or not. I mean, I know as a fact if I played or not. You get it?
Yes, sir.
And lastly, ignorance is not a defense. May every player in this league read the league rules themselves, competition rules themselves. You cannot sit here and say, I don't know that we have to play 3 games. That is your problem entirely. The way when you play basketball, don't you know the rules? Don't you know if you hold the ball and you run with it, it's a walk? You do, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
It is your job to know those rules. If you play in a league, because we always complain about money and all the rest, NBA players are not ignorant of the NBA rules, even the collective bargaining rules. Hence, they know how to negotiate their contracts, right? Because you need to know the rules, what is your due and what is not. So players should be held heavily accountable in these matters, right? Which case in point here, if this player is found guilty of what they've said, he should have a personal sanction too. You understand? A
Yes, sir.
personal sanction because he is the player. Players must also bear it. And this we passed in the recent team managers meeting because you cannot just throw it all on a team and yet a player is also there who brings themselves with their own ideas. So that's how I feel about this whole thing. And it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate. This whole situation is, just blowing over on the KBF side, and we just getting more people talking about it. We'll just keep KBF on their toes because if we continue, to let KBF keep getting out with these activities with no repercussions, they should know that the public are watching.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I think, yeah. Coach, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the call. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.